Next morning, James was still feeling good, but he was still feeling worried about the top hat as well. He, along with Edward and Gordon, were warming up to get their trains out. James had successfully passed the first test. But that wasn't so. The Fat Controller spoke to him severely. "If you can't behave," he said angrily, "I shall do something drastic." There was a pause. "I shall take away your red coat and paint you blue instead." "Ha ha ha," laughed Gordon. "No, imagine that, James, in blue paint." "Well, don't be like that, Gordon," said Edward. "It shouldn't happen at all." Why not, my dear Edward?" asked Gordon. "Well, we wouldn't want another me rolling around now, do we?" chuckled Edward. James was very cross. He bumped the coaches hard. He did not want to be painted blue at all. "Stupid Edward, stupid Gordon," he still moaned. He hesitated to say stuff about the Topham Hatt. He pushed the coaches to the platform. "Why do I even have to push my own coaches?" he moaned. "Gordon never does, and he's only painted blue. A splendid red engine like me should never have to fetch his own coaches. Why don't you do it, Thomas?" he shouted. "Because I have to go. Bye." James wasn't happy at all. He ran round to collect his coaches, not before giving them a rude bump. "Ooh, that was too bad," they groaned. To make James even more cross, no one would come near him. James felt very lonely. "I'll show them," he said to himself. "They think Gordon is the only one who can pull coaches." And as soon as the guard's whistle blew, he started off with a tremendous jerk. "Come on, come on, come on!" And the coaches, squeaking and groaning in protest, clattered over the points onto the open main line. "Hurry, hurry, hurry!" puffed James. "You're going too fast! You're going too fast!" said the coaches. And indeed they were going so fast that they swayed from side to side. James laughed and tried to go faster, but the coaches wouldn't let him. "We're going to stop! We're going to stop! We're going to stop!" they said, and James found himself going slower and slower and slower. Gordon laughed as he saw him stuck outside the tunnel. "What's the matter? What's the matter?" James asked his driver. "The brakes are hard on, leak in the pipe most likely. You banged the coaches enough to make a leak in anything," said the driver. They looked at all the brake pipes, and then they found the hole. "How shall we mend it?" asked the guard. James's driver thought for a moment. "We'll do it with newspapers and a leather bootlace. We'll ask the passengers for one." So the guard made everyone get out. "Does anyone have a leather bootlace?" he asked. They all looked at their feet, thought very hard, and said no, except one man in a bowler hat, his name was Jeremiah Jobling, bowler hat, who tried to hide his feet. "You have a leather bootlace there, I see, sir," said the driver. "Please give it to me." "I won't," said Jeremiah Jobling. "I can't." "Then," said the guard sternly, "I'm afraid this train will just stop where it is."
No.
Then the passengers started to all beat Jeremiah Jobling up.
I'll do it. Help.
So the fireman got his wrench back, and Jeremiah Jobling gave the laces to the guard, much to the delight of the happy passengers, except for the one who stole the wrench. Then the driver tied a pad of newspapers tightly around the hole, and James was able to pull the train. But he was a sadder and wiser James, and took care never to bump coaches again.